Welcome back to another episode of Modern Hotelier. We're excited to release the episode with Amanda Jensen, the CEO and co-founder of Sanctuary Treehouse Resort. David, what were some of your takeaways from this episode?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, the fact that they had this concept and then they got competitive and they were like, hey, we want to be the biggest, not only the best. So I thought that was really cool. And I just think probably be cool to be one of their kids growing up, witnessing this concept and building it. And she talks about how her family is involved in it. So I thought it was a really, really cool location. And she was a great interview.
Absolutely. And this is like my childhood dream to stay at one of these places, except now they have where you can drop down bottles and glasses or cans where you can drop it down to the lower levels. They have slides, they have pulley systems. You can raise and lower the bed. I mean, this is like my childhood dream. Definitely am going to need to check this place out. But yeah, it was great. I loved hearing just how, she said that the family aspect changed and, they're still spending all the quality time together, but now they're just building this treehouse sanctuary, and it's absolutely incredible, and it seems like the kids are having a ton of fun with it too. So we're excited to release this, and let us know what you think.
Welcome to the Modern Hotelier. I'm your host, David Millili.
I'm your co-host, Steve Carran.
And I'm the producer, John Boomhofer.
Steve, who do we have on the program today?
Yeah, David, today we have on Amanda Jensen. Amanda is the CEO and co-founder of Sanctuary Treehouse Resort. Sanctuary Treehouse Resort is the world's largest treehouse resort. Their mission is to transport you back to your childhood treehouse adventures by providing an immersive and playful experience within their treehouses. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Excited to have you.
All right, great. So we're going to go through 4 areas. We're going to do a lightning round. We're going to get to know some things about your background, your career, and then get into industry topics. Sound good?
Sounds perfect to me.
What was the first job you ever had?
Modeling, actually. Yeah. Started modeling when I was 12.
Great. What's something that you wish you were better at?
Singing.
Okay. Did you have a role model growing up?
Yes, my mom.
What's a luxury that you cannot live without?
Wi-Fi.
And where's a place you've never been to that you would most like to go? Maybe something on your bucket list.
Africa, believe it or not.
Okay. And if you had a late night talk show, who would your first guest be?
Probably Dr. Mabandla.
Okay. Very good. Now, this is the last one. If you had a time machine and you could go to the future or the past, which way are you going and what year would you go to?
Oh, gosh. Probably back to my childhood, like 1980s, 85, 86.
80s are great.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, that was great. Now we're going to learn a little bit more about you and your background. So you grew up in Sevier County, Tennessee. Did I pronounce that right? And is that correct?
It's Sevier County, and Brian's actually the local. I didn't grow up here.
Where did you grow up?
Tybee Island, Georgia is home for me.
Okay. How did growing up in Georgia shape you into who you are today?
I don't know. I don't know much of how I even got here. I'm still making sense of it. And same for Brian with all the different turns we made. And I come from a social little island. Everyone knows everybody. And, I would say that that's probably where I got my gregarious personality and ability to meet people and get along with anybody, because that was the environment that I was raised in. It was a little small beach community. Mm-hmm.
So we might have misstepped here, and so this might be what you've learned from Brian, but there was in 2016, there was a fire that went through Gatlinburg and all that was left. And a lot of us saw it. I remember seeing it. There's just like a flag left. What was that? What was that like? What was the story behind that?
It was devastating for our community and definitely for our family as well. Our main business that we've had in our family for over 60 years, but Brian and I have owned it for probably 30, is the Gatlinburg Sky Park. We have a sky shop up there. And so that business burned completely to the ground, and we had to rebuild. And it was a very, very sad time for our community. We lost some very valuable people and their homes and their pets, and we all did rise together and we're bounced back from it for the most part, but it was very, very difficult.
There was a picture of a flag that was left over from the fire, and that kind of, it almost seemed like it rallied the community, and it was on the news. And can you share a little bit more about the flag that was left behind after the fire and kind of what happened thereafter?
Absolutely. I love to tell this story. Right after the fires, for about a week, no one was able to go up there. Business owners, nothing. They were, doing rescue and just kind of getting through and checking things. So all you had was the internet to try to find what's left of your business or your home. So our dear friend Tina was looking online, and she saw where some of the servicemen had found this flag and the picture from where they found it. And it was so profound. And they had posted it, and they said they had hung it in their barracks as kind of inspiration. So when she saw that, we knew exactly where it was. It was from our flagpole at the top of the Sky Park. And she said, I think that's great. Do you care if we have it back when you guys are done with it? And so they absolutely agreed to that. And when we did the reopening of our new shop up there, we ended up having those particular servicemen come up and dedicate that flag, and it hangs in our new shop.
Awesome. And we'll have to put a picture of that. It almost reminded me of after the World Trade Centers, where they were hoisting up the flag again. And it was this, it was kind of this inspirational thing, like, hey, we have bad things happen to us, but we're not gone. We're going to rebuild and come back stronger. So just a really cool picture. So now kind of onto a lighter note. So you are more on the experiential travel side with a treehouse resort. Did you travel or see anything through your travels that kind of inspired you to add something to your treehouse resort, or a certain element or adventure to it?
Yeah. So our family travels a lot. Of course, since we've opened the resort, it's hit the brakes a little because we're focused on trying to get everything as it should be and put the right people in place, take our place. But yeah, we, in our travels, we were able to, think about what we would think is great in a staying accommodation, what we liked about each place we stayed, from, camping in our RV to hotels and resorts. And we were able to incorporate all of those into our resort. And a lot of people that own resorts around us are like, you're crazy for all the things you do. We would never do that because it's tedious or it's cost, and things like that. I'm like, but these are the things that they love. You can't get anywhere else, and they don't expect it. And that's kind of what makes you shine. But still, it's no, we would never do that, kind of thing. So we stayed at a lot of really cool places. We did stay. Brian had mentioned after we built our children's treehouse, people were starting to stay in them. And he was like, we should rent that out because the kids aren't playing it anymore. And we didn't, naturally. But I knew his little wheels were turning, and he was talking about how, it was becoming a thing. And he was like, we should build a few on our property. So I took him to stay at one in a neighboring state. And I really shouldn't have, because it just kept, I don't know, I thought it was sweet, but I didn't think about feeding that beast. And so, yeah, I just helped give him more ideas and things that we would do and we wouldn't do that they had done. And just kind of several years later, here we are.
I love that. Well, that was great. Now we're going to get a little bit more into your career, how you gotten to where you are today. So your background was in the Federal Aviation Administration, helping program computers and marketing for fundraising companies. How does this experience kind of help you in your current role as a treehouse resort owner?
Again, I with the particular position I had with the fundraising company, I was out meeting people and talking to school districts and principals and coordinating efforts nationally to put those programs together for the schools. So definitely got a lot of computer experience, a lot of experience with dealing with different types of people and the kids. I would do promotions for the kids and pep rallies and things. So that was always a lot of fun. As far as the Federal Aviation Administration, I did work contract there for them for a while. I'm still the youngest person ever to work at the FAA at age 23.
Wow.
Everyone thought I worked in the daycare or the credit union. But they were all in my class for training, which was a fun day to see their faces. But that gave me a lot of computer experience. Of course, the program that I don't even know if they use it anymore, that I used, it could be antiquated by now. You know how technology goes. But definitely I learned a lot up there. It was so fascinating to be up there and see the latest and everything. And got a lot of computer experience there.
So you and your husband also own the Gatlin Sky Center, and you won the SCHA Attraction of the Year in 2019. Can you tell us more about the Sky Center and why people should stop by?
Yeah. Okay. So Gatlinburg Skylift Park is the oldest attraction in Gatlinburg. It has been around forever. I don't know, 60 or more years. After the fires, they came back bigger and better than ever. So they now have expanded. A whole new lift went in. There's now North America's largest suspension bridge that's up there, and it has, so many feet of glass in the middle. There's tulip towers. There's hiking trails. They just expanded. And the views up there are like no other. Absolutely just stunning and breathtaking. And you can go up there and sit and take it in, or you can do some of the many adventures that they have put up there now, and there's more to come. So it's definitely a bucket list item for a lot of people to come there, and they're coming from all over the world just to go on that bridge and to ride up that mountain. It's really neat.
That's awesome. So in 2021, you and your husband, Brian, started the Sanctuary Treehouse Resort in the Smoky Mountains. It started, like you said, a treehouse just for your children. How did it grow into what it is today? And, what was that final straw where you're like, okay, let's jump in and build a treehouse sanctuary?
Well, I wouldn't use the word jump as much as we were falling into it. So it kind of was we were thrown into it, and we're just holding on for the ride, and it's been an experience. But, original plan was just to build 6 to 10 on some of our property that's nearby our home, and just throw them on the OTAs, Airbnb, VRBO, and see how it goes, and just, host some guests. And then this 40 acres that we have now that the resort resides on became available. And again, we live close by, and we kept hearing that developers were going to scalp it and build big apartments or cabins. And we didn't want to look at that by our neighborhood. So we had to buy it. We drove the property. I mean, we would go by that for 20 or more years and never knew the views that it had. And so we drove it, and we're just amazed at what you could see from there, and the topography of the land. And so we purchased it. And then I kind of looked at Brian that day, and I was like, what are we going to do with 40 acres? And he was already over there. I see him his graph paper and his ruler. And he's like, do me a favor, look up who has the most tree houses right now. I know a lot of people are dabbling in it, but who has the most? And I'm like, okay. And this was 2 years ago, so it could be different now. Somebody in North Carolina has 17. And he said, so we're already going to be the world's first interactive tree house. As soon as we get to 18, we'll be the world's largest. I'm like, what are you doing? You let me in on this. And I was a no. I was like, where's family time? Where's our travels? Where's our life going to go? And there was no talking to him. He sold me on the heartstring side of it. He'd take me on property tours, and he was like, look, this is something we can do together with our kids. We can show them how to build something so unique for other people. And they could totally have part in this. And this could be another legacy for our family. And of course, got me there. So,
absolutely.
And then it was still the plan just to build a few and let them roll out. And they caught worldwide attention. So we started pre-marketing probably almost a year before the open date. And I had a rendering. And by the time we were opening, I had a lot of reservations in there waiting to come. And I told Brian, I was like, you better do exactly what you said that we were going to build, because all these folks are waiting. And the media caught us, and it was everywhere. And so we really didn't expect it. And that was very humbling and really helped get some attention to the resort. And we've been just flying ever since with it. So love it.
That's awesome.
That's great. So do you have, since opening, do you have a favorite memory?
There's lots of them there. Maybe opening day. I did this to our staff and everybody in our community. Everyone wanted to come. And then we had our guests coming in just a few days, but we hadn't shown it to the public yet. And of course, the city wanted to do a ribbon cutting and all those things. And so I did it all in one day. Coordinated it all. Come on, everybody, just come on. I'm taking guests in 3 days. And while it was a very, very mean thing for me to do to the staff here, we got it done. It was a great day. Our mayor spoke. Some very prestigious, wonderful people in our community came out and spoke and showed their support. And it was a really exciting day. A lot of smiles. Get to see everyone's reaction.
That was great, Amanda. Now we're going to move into more of the industry thoughts side of this podcast. So people are all about experiences these days. Experiential travel is one of the fastest types of travel, fastest growing types of travel. Like you said, you're an interactive resort. What types of experiences are you offering, and do you have in your tree houses?
They're so fun. So we have 3 different designs. We have our luxury, and then we have our tree fort, and then we have our tree fort doubles. The luxury is a little more like bougie, more for couples, so to speak, very upgraded in decor, full bidet toilet systems, swinging outdoor day beds, inside soaking tub, outdoor soaking tub, very luxurious. And then our tree forts are more the ones that have all of the features on them. They have 20-foot slides, escape hatches, rope climbs, swings, secret ladders, interactive furniture like our beds that roll out. You can roll them out with a crank on the wall. The bunk beds roll up, and there's a secret table with 2 chairs underneath for indoor seating or, a workspace. Am I leaving out bucket pulleys? The drink chutes. You can drop down any size can or bottle from the kitchenette inside to your lower deck. That's always
No
fun
way.
one. So they're fantastic. That, and then the tree fort double is basically 2 tree forts, and it's connected with a bridge, so you can walk
Oh,
between
wow.
the two. Those are great. They sleep up to 12. So as far as on property, there's over 4.5 miles of walking trails, and we are now putting together a scavenger hunt for so that when kids come, we've got a map and they've got compasses that we'll leave them, and they can adventure there. And future plans include, the Enchanted Forest, and there's some secrets there. But we're trying to not do what's been done to death here. So, we won't have hot tubs or pools. I mean, it's just, we're just wanting to do something different. We're going to build in-ground hot springs that are community. So it's just whatever has not been done is what we're spending our time doing here. And people are loving it. And they're like, why would we have any other amenities? They're all on our treehouse. And they get here and they don't want to leave. They're mad they bought tickets to go see stuff. The kids are crying, or they go out into the community, which we try to encourage them to. And they're like, all day long, everyone just wanted to go back to the treehouse. And we love that, but also we hate it for them because they've, planned to go all these places. And, they're like, well, we'll just come back and we'll only stay here. And then there's those that know they came here specifically for that treehouse.
Well, that's a great segue because you have on your website a page dedicated to things to do in the area, which as a ex-hotelier, I love that because I always talk about, there's your property, but there's also, other things. Unlike your property, which sounds like you don't have to leave. There's a lot of properties where it is always good to get a break. So why was it important for you to partner with local companies, and what type of benefits have you seen from that?
So that's called our Sanctuary Perk-card. And as we were trying to navigate, getting open and building, I had people already making their plans. The ones that had reservations asking us, where do we go? Where do we eat? What do we do? And then I had our businesses in the area. A lot of people that, it's a tight community here. A lot of them are friends of ours that own businesses, or just ones that heard about our resort and really wanted to talk to our guests. So it occurred to me I could just throw this together. I was like, all right, I'll make some rules for it. So I will pick our favorite businesses, and I won't have 5 of your kind of business on there, but you in turn have to provide a very unique discount to our guests, and we will offer that to them. So it's completely complimentary, and there's a little bit of everything. There's shows, restaurants, shopping tours, helicopter tours, adventures like Tennessee Silencer, where you can go shoot high-powered rifles off the top of a Humvee. That is so freaking cool. Everyone loves that. Pink Jeep tours. Soaky Mountain Water Park is right next door. If anybody wants to swim, our guests get half off there. They love it. It's complimentary once they book with us. That's one of the things that we learned through our own travels, is that we don't want to be nickeled and dimed to death once we've booked somewhere. They never touch their wallets. As a matter of fact, we save them money. So that's all there for them and available if they want to use it in their planning.
That's incredible. So something that, we hear a lot about is sustainability. You're obviously a treehouse resort. How do you keep sustainability in mind when you're, especially now as you're growing? How are you kind of preserving the trees and, still growing?
So one of the reasons we wanted to purchase this property is to preserve the topography of the land, because we have a vested interest in that area. We live nearby. And so with building, it's kind of like stadium seating. We're on a slant. So what we have worked out and why we can go to 130 is we can build within the topography of the land. We do not remove any tree. If it's dead or fallen, we will, remove it. But everything has been placed strategically amongst the property to preserve every bit of the trees that we can and the nature that lives there. We have lots of nature, bears and deers and turkeys, and our 2 bald eagles. They are show-offs for our guests. So yeah, absolutely. We do everything we can to maintain that, be a good steward of the shared space.
And so, obviously your property is different. It's all about experiences. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to, maybe not exactly what you did, but just to take that leap and to get involved in creating a really a destination within a destination?
Careful what you promise. Make sure it's something you can do. And, in our case, we didn't promise, and we knew we could deliver. But, it's a scary thing to go out on your own, especially to do something that no one has done, because you have nothing to compare to. And so you got to have the answers or go find them. So yeah, while it might be scary, it can be really fun. And it has been a really fun adventure when we look back, even on the days that I might be pitching a fit because I didn't want to work that hard. It turned out to be mostly smiles and just being able to see their reward when we meet our guests is just affirmation every time. So while it is hard work and it can be discouraging at times because there's a lot of things you don't know that you have to figure out. It's an uncomfortable situation. In the end, it's worth it.
I love that. So now we're almost done here, but we've been asking you questions this whole time. We're going to turn the tables and we're going to let you ask us a question before you head out here.
Okay. So I think I know a little bit, but tell me a little history of your podcast and who you like to interview, what you guys do, a little more about what you do.
David, we got a self-plug here. You want to take this one away?
Yeah. So, I mean, history of this podcast is I was advising a company and Steve was working for that company as head of sales. They were from India trying to get some more exposure in the US. So I had said, I think, why don't we do a podcast? I've been in the industry a long time. I can get us some guests. I want to do it with Steve. So that way, in case I leave or something happens, you have some continuity and an actual employee involved. We were fortunate enough where we were able to purchase the podcast as that company refocused on India. And we've just tried to be more about quality, getting quality guests, making sure that we're asking you the right questions. And it's been a lot of fun. But for us, it's always, our podcast is more about the guest than us. So it's always interesting to meet people like you and kind of just hear their story. And Steve and I both obviously love hospitality. So it's always cool to learn new things.
Yeah. I'd say it's fascinating.
Absolutely. So we got, you got it. You did a good job explaining it. I'm good with that. Now we have our producer, John. He's been listening the whole time. He is going to ask you one final question before we get you out of here.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, it might be a scary one. No. You talked a lot about like starting this and, where's the family time, but it's also an asset, a legacy piece for your family. I'm curious. I want you to touch on that. And like now looking back, what has been the impact on your family, your kids? What do they think of the whole thing? And like, just how has that played out?
Yeah, so we have had a lot more family time, just not doing the things we did before. So they are very much participants in it. All four of our children in every way they can with their talents. And for instance, our 18-year-old daughter who's about to leave for college, I use her art where I can to do the themes on each one, and that's just wonderful. She's done original murals in there and things like that. People love it. She'll hide Easter eggs within a tree house, like among the wildflowers has little frogs. You got to find 7 frogs within your treehouse. She's just so clever with all of that. My twins have been very active in naming them and helping me with the themes, as well as one of the twins likes to drive our equipment better than most of the guys can. Backhoes, anything. She's like, I'll dig the holes. So legitimately, you might see a 10-year-old with a hard hat on digging a hole if you're our way, which is great. Everybody's got to have their thing. But so no, well, we have been together and this has been very different for our family. It's been very rewarding. And I think even on days that they might have questioned why we're doing this, they meet the guests too. And we go hang out with them and they make friends we've had people come here from Hong Kong, Brazil, a ton of people from the UK, and they're just fascinating. Everybody has their story. And so a lot of times we'll get done with dinner at the house and we're like, let's go hang out and see what the guests are doing. And sometimes they're all commingling at our outdoor community kitchen. And of course, we always have to remind them we have to work tomorrow. We're not on vacation. So they get invited to the cookouts and stuff. And it's so hard not to just want to stay and be on vacation with them. But yeah, so it's actually been it's been rewarding. It's the best word to use. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Well, that does it for another episode of the Modern Hotelier. Amanda, this is where you get to let people know how to get to the resort, Sanctuary Treehouse, how people can get in touch with you. So you can plug away right now.
If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on the web at treehouseresort.com. We're also on all the social platforms if you want to take a look at it there, or you can reach out to us at 423-TREE-FUN or hello@treehouseresort.com.
Well, that does it for another episode of the Modern Hotelier. So whether you're watching or listening, we appreciate you and we hope to be with you again soon. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You made it to the end of the Modern Hotelier. Thanks for listening. The Modern Hotelier is produced by Make More Media. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you know a guest or sponsor that would be a good fit, feel free to email us at hello@themodernhotelier.com. If you'd like to get some Modern Hotelier merch, click the merch button on modernhotelier.com or click the link below. Thanks and have a great day.